Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Continuing our theme of daily chats about what's going on in the market. Again, try to stay focused on cost of capital and the consumers, but with everything going on, we've been talking about lots of different topics. I guess first off, got to come in and tell you, I'm not a believer in the stock market rally. We were up 1,600 points yesterday. Looks like we're up 700 or 800 points this morning. It just feels manipulated, fake. It kind of feels like the big boys are trying to make us believe there's something out there that isn't. Believe me, I want to believe that this is over, this is behind us. We can start talking about the economy opening and growing earnings and all of those things. I want to believe that. So if it is and I'm wrong, I'll never be so thankful to be wrong. But again, you got to remember, yesterday's 1,600 up day, that was on the back of light volume. Average volume here lately has been around 600, 650 million. I don't remember. Whatever the scale is, if it's million or billion shares traded. Yesterday was only 600. So, not a big volume day. You would want to see a huge volume day on such an up day. I just think the machines are taking over. I think what we're seeing is people are trading indexes and ETFs and things, and it's pulling the market up or down. I'm just absolutely not a believer. To think that as of this recording, we are up 20% from the bottom. Technically, that's a bull market. Do you think we're in a bull market? We haven't even gotten to earnings season yet. This just feels so fake and manipulated. It is, it's disappointing to see if somebody's going to jump in here. And again, I think it's really all about the machines and the algos or algorithms and things of that nature. I'm curious, anybody out there sticking their toe in and buying individual stocks? Maybe there's more stock buying out there than I see. There's just lots of things coming. A couple of things are very encouraging. I don't know if you heard about what Abbott Labs is doing. It looks like they are on the cusp of, let's see. Oh, okay. Look at you. Awesome. All right. Maybe there's some buying going on. Abbott Labs looks to be having what they call a home test for this health event. Basically, it's a 5-minute test you take at home. I need to read more about it. I don't know what it takes to do that, but if we could create a home pregnancy test like thing that's done in 5 minutes that everybody could do in theory, that'd be game changing in my opinion, right? Everybody does that, in theory, do it every day, and that could really open up the economy pretty quick. So I'm pretty encouraged about that. Other things that have kind of jumped out at me is I think our supply chain is going to change dramatically. I think it has become very obvious that we need to make more stuff here. So I could see manufacturing increasing substantially post-event. The fact that critical health and protection and safety drugs are, I don't want to say necessarily held hostage in other countries, but let's just say they're not necessarily our best friends and they can choose to do what they want to do. I don't think we let that happen after this event. We need to make sure that we are ramping testing capabilities. Again, this Abbott Labs thing is just awesome, if true. Can't wait to see them go at scale. That would be awesome. The vaccine is obviously the end all, but if you can test everybody, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, staying out of stocks, me too. The other thing that I think is becoming pretty interesting, because this is a real estate channel at its heart, that's who I am at my heart. I am seeing more and more renters after this event wanting houses. And that's because you have a backyard in most cases, right? I mean, if you're living in an apartment, you're in your kind of shelter in place, it's probably not as fun as shelter in place in a house. So I'm going to see more and more people, I think, as renters moving to houses, maybe living with roommates and stuff. I think apartments have seen their peak, at least in the near term. I really do think rental homes are going to be a big uptick after this. And again, freely admit that I've been pushing homes for a while, so I could be absolutely biased. My opinion could be slanted. I'm willing to accept that. So if you can see a reason to stay in apartments versus a house, let me know. I'd love the counter argument. But again, pretty easy to stay 6 feet apart in a house. Probably not as easy, going forward. Josh, yeah, I think people are changing their vocations as well. I think I saw an article yesterday about 500,000 nurses are light, something of that nature. So there's lots of things. I think there's going to be I think lots of things are going to change this event. That is interesting. I just saw talk about domestic air travel really coming back in June for for Asia countries and in Europe and the like. I think that's wishful thinking. I got another airport number here for you that just tells you how bad it is. So TSA screeners, those people at the airport that kind of make sure you go through and everything's okay. They screened 160,000 people yesterday at American airports. So that was 24 hours. And I got to tell you, that was more than I expected, but I don't have any context. I haven't been to an airport in a while. But that is down 95% from the same day last year. That's amazing. That just shows you how bad it is. Not sure if you're following Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is actually capped. They had some bad business practices under previous leadership, and they've been capped at how big they can have I think it's their balance sheet. So they can't participate in all these federally backed loan programs. They're capping real estate loans and equity lines and whatnot, which actually I think is going to protect them. I think if we go through this much longer, they're going to be, interestingly enough, better off than not. But thought that was interesting. I thought Major League Baseball, this doesn't feel real, but I read that Major League Baseball, Major League Baseball is talking about having all games in Arizona, and then having their teams live in confined environments, or contained environments. Talking about 7-inning games and no umpires, electronic strike zones. It's baseball. Baseball to me is already slow and boring, and now you're gonna, I don't know. It's just, I can't imagine, what is it? How many baseball teams are there? 36, 40? I don't even know. But having all the teams kind of play in Arizona, kind of round robin style, like softball tournaments that are played, kind of crazy. It looks like cruise stocks are getting piled into. Cruise stocks have been improving. I was wondering why. It seems like millennials are piling in, kind of some things I've read on Robinhood and the like. But it looks like the Saudi Wealth Fund, very, very, very deep pockets, took a nice position in Carnival. Again, Carnival wasn't going to get a bailout from the U.S., given they're not flagged in the U.S., so somebody else had to step up. And as you know, there's probably 5 or 10 funds out there that could, and Saudi Wealth Fund is kind of right at the top of the list. So pretty interesting to see them pile in. That is interesting. Then lastly, it looks like Nancy Pelosi is out there pushing hard for another $1 trillion bill. This would be the fourth, thing through Congress. Professional sports are losing a bunch of money, that's for sure. So Nancy Pelosi is talking about we need to increase the small business loans. I think there was $350 billion. Looks to be already oversubscribed, and it hasn't even been a week. I think you need to take unemployment, the goosed up unemployment, from 4 months to 6, just to match what we did in 2008. I think we do need to talk about sending checks every month. This is a national emergency. This one-time $1,200 plus 500 for kids is interesting, but let's think ahead and remember that we asked 30% of our folks to stay home, so pay them. Then I read that there's some other interesting things there. One is they're talking about cutting capital gains tax, which I thought was interesting. I'm not really sure what that accomplishes, but hey, I bought some real estate at the bottom, in 2010. Maybe I look to sell it and cut my capital gains tax. I don't know. Could be cool. Talking about a 50-year bond sale. Can you imagine putting your money in something for 1% or 1.5% or whatever it is? And then, of course, there's the infrastructure bill that I think has to be a part of this. Whenever there is the light at the end of the tunnel, we have to have a huge infrastructure bill. We're going to have a percent of our unemployed come back quickly, but it's going to be a portion. It'll be big. It'll be 50, 60, 70%. But there's going to be a big stack that's not coming back, and we need to think ahead. And I think an infrastructure bill that would employ millions of people, possibly, is a great way to go. So again, I have zero faith in the stock market rally. I think it is all fake. I think it's at best led by machines and algorithms. At worst, it's some kind of suckers rally to just rip off the average American. I'm not a big believer in it. I think it is too fast, too soon. We haven't even had the earnings announcements and reports yet. It just feels so bad. But I've never been more interested in being wrong. If this is really the return of a start of a bull market, because we're up 20%, which is crazy to think about, it could be interesting. So that's what I got for you today. I got a couple of interviews that should be fun. One at 8 and one at 9 my time. So have a wonderful day. I hope you're doing well, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.